6/5 Sunday 2016 private video. I got my laundry list here and my bullet points, and I'm gonna just go with it. First item, David Wilcock. I think it's very odd and very sort of slimy and seedy that he's talking about Kylie Jenner, him and Kylie Jenner hanging out and squeezing avocados together and talking to each other about how soft they were. I mean, I don't know. It just sounds odd to me. From a grown man's perspective, you're talking about Kylie Jenner? I mean, what's next, Wilcock? Are you going to talk about Justin Bieber? Is that the level that you're on? It just seems very strange to me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Grown men don't talk about juveniles or hanging out with them. It's just, ugh, I don't like it. At least when I talk about who I was hanging out with in the entertainment business, I'm talking about people, reputable, people that have stature. Guns N' Roses. I mean, that's, it's a well-known rock band. Okay, that's on a different level than Kylie Jenner. I mean, I don't know. The guy, the more I hear about this guy, the more I get into his little idiosyncrasies, the more I don't like him. He's just slimy to me. He's slimy. So I wanted to just point that out. I don't like him. I don't like him. Could he have great information? Yeah. I just don't like his personality. I think there's something wrong with him. I think there's something. I think he's got skeletons in the closet. That's what I'm saying. I don't like him. Okay, on to point number 2. Let's talk about that shooting that happened at UCLA. From what I'm hearing, it was a staged event. The shooting never happened, and it's, again, being used to fortify the castle. What a lot of people don't understand is a university system, some parts of the university system in the United States are connected to MKUltra, are connected to government institutions, are connected to research work for, the corporate conglomerate and banking systems. That's what the tenured professors do. They do research work. Well, the question becomes, who are they doing research work for? Now, there was a very interesting guy that was tied to UCLA years ago. His name was Louis, I believe is how you pronounce it, Jolyon, Jolyon West. They called him Jolly West. He had definitive connections with MKUltra. He had definitive connections with covert psychological operations, and he was tied into them, and he was tied into UCLA. So what I'm saying is that they, the government and their institutions are using these false flag events to quarantine, to fortify their castle. I guarantee you there's going to be more security on UCLA campus from here on out. And I just wanted to point that out. Okay, item number 3, Trump protesters. All of these mob violent outbreaks, these events that are happening at the Trump gatherings, I don't know exactly where they're coming from. I do know that someone is staging them, okay? I don't know if it's Soros, I don't know if it's Trump himself, I don't know. I do know that they're staged, and I do know that Trump's original background is Illuminati. His original background is Illuminati. Whether he's turncoated and is on somebody else's payroll right now, I have no idea. Does that happen? Yes. There's guys that change sides all the time. There's guys that go from good to evil. There's guys that go from evil to good. It happens. I just don't know, but I know the protests are staged, and or the outbreaks of the protests are staged. And I want to point something out here. See, I look at the whole system, the whole way that we vote, and we have this president, and we have this governing board, the Senate and the Congress and all this. I look at that whole system as faulty. I look at that whole system as non-representative, and I look at that system as never able to represent. This is the thing, okay? How's a guy, I'm on the West Coast, how is a guy 3,000 miles away from me going to be able to know what's happening in my neighborhood, going to be able to live in my neighborhood, be able to know the people that are in my neighborhood, and do the things that are correct for my neighborhood specifically when that person doesn't even know what my neighborhood's all about? It's impossible. It's impossible. So in my opinion, the whole nature of this system is garbage. It has to be thrown away. Throw it away, get rid of it. Just like the fiat banking system. You can never have anything substantial that comes out of that because the system in itself is a lie. The paper money system is a lie. So get rid of the whole system. That's how I'm looking at it. And I saw a bumper sticker the other day that somebody had on their car, and it said, "Feel the burn," B-E-R-N, like Bernie Sanders. And I'm like, yeah, feel the burn, because your brain is cooked, you idiot. How can you fall for the same trick over and over and over? You know what the definition of madness is? Doing the same activity and expecting a different outcome. Okay, that's the classic standard English definition of madness, and the United States population engages in that type of action all the time. Feel the burn. How many presidents have shafted you guys? And you're going to go vote for another one? You're going to go endorse another one? You're going to put a bumper sticker in your car for another candidate that comes from the same system? Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, man, you're dumb. Okay, point number 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a guy by the name of Jeff Berwick. He runs a site called Dollar Vigilante. I was listening to him. I don't know that much about the guy, but I was listening to a speech that he made at some type of a convention. Apparently the guy has been to like 100 countries. Very interesting, because I've stated previously, whenever you travel and you go internationally, you always see a different way of life. You see a different meme. You see a different MO. You see things that you thought are abnormal, but the whole neighborhood and the whole country's doing it. So it's not abnormal. It's just that you've been conditioned by the United States. And this guy, Jeff Berwick, I believe is his name, Dollar Vigilante, he was saying that exact same thing. He's like, when you go abroad, you find out how really fascist the United States is. So it's almost like an endorsement for what I was saying a few videos ago, when a lot of people outside the United States view Americans as very infantile, very Disneyland-esque. They live in a daydream. They're not keyed into reality. Well, he's sort of backing up what I was saying. So I just wanted to show that reinforcement. I mean, I was in Europe one time, just to give you an example of going outside and getting good intel and good information on what happens. I was in Europe one time and I met a guy, older guy, world traveler. This guy had traveled so much recently that his initial passport book was stamped full, okay? He had to go and get another passport book, and they started to stamp that. I mean, the guy's been to many, many, many countries. He tells me, he says, you know what? The reason why China's successful, the reason why China has all the manufacturing plants over there is not because of the exchange rate. It has very little to do with that. It's because the Chinese worker is the best in the world. That's what he said to me. He said they're fast, they're efficient, they show up on time, the quality of the work can be at the highest level of any place in the world. And for every one product the United States assembly person puts together, a Chinese worker will put together 6 or 7. And the quality will be perfect. So, and don't confuse that with Chinese products that are shoddy that are sold at Walmart, okay? Walmart is in control of the specs for that item. And Walmart's the one giving the Chinese factories the specs. Okay, how you're going to make the product, what kind of materials it's about, what is the final cost going to be. Walmart's the one dictating the cheapness of it. Home Depot, Lowe's are dictating the cheapness of the Chinese product. But if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get Chinese products that are just that are phenomenal. Look at the Chinese military. I mean, that'll tell you right there. They can make quality products. This is they get blamed for the decision of the American corporate conglomerate like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all these big, box cheap stores. So yeah, I just wanted to get that little point reinforced a little bit. And where are we at now? Fed rate decision is coming up. It doesn't matter what decision they make because it's going to be the wrong decision. It's either way they go with this, they're not going to look good. So, and I'm not going to get into that. There's plenty of arguments and dialogue on the internet if you want to research that a little bit more. I'm just putting my perspective and my thoughts into it, and it's not going to work either way for them. Also, Panama Papers, I'm going to bring this up. Do you guys notice that the trend right now is for hedge funds and big money people? You know, you got Soros getting out of the markets, you got Carl Icahn getting out of the markets, you got Bill Gross getting out of the markets. Bill Gross has made one of the biggest bond merchant traders in the world. He's getting out of the markets. Now, do you notice how this shift happened literally just a few weeks after the Panama Papers? Do you guys notice that tie? That non-coincidentalness of that? I think it's fascinating. I think it's very fascinating the Panama Papers would come out, which I said was a divulgence of the American corporate conglomerate, and now we notice that all these hedge funds and American corporate conglomerate heads are changing their whole disposition and position in the markets. You notice that? It's almost like when you go into a dark room and you turn on a light or shine a flashlight, all the cockroaches run. So I think that's very telling, and I think it's significant. So I want to point that out. Also, Cliff High, and I've got a lot of respect for that guy. I think he's just a very bright, very honest, very sincere individual. You know, the contrapositive to the weirdo nutcase Wilcock. He was talking on an interview, and he brought up the same sort of thing that I've been saying over the last little bit here. He didn't say Osiris, but he brought up the fact of the 10th Buddha, or the Maitreya, or the Anointed One, or the return of Quetzalcoatl, second coming of Christ. And he agreed with what I was saying, that yes, great individuals do incarnate, great individuals do represent certain aspects of the universe here in the present now on Earth. These do happen from time to time. The only thing that he was different on is he said that it's not the 10th incarnation of the Buddha, it's the 8th incarnation, and the 10th incarnation is going to happen in like 63 years. Which, okay, all right, that's fine. I mean, if he's going to have just that slight difference, that's fine with me. But I wanted to point that out because there's not a lot of people that are talking about it. Sometimes I have these weird off-the-wall theories or ways of looking at things, and there's no one to really like reinforce what I'm saying. Only a very select few individuals are able to talk on that same level, and Cliff High is absolutely one of them. I look up to the guy. I just think he's just a phenomenal, well-rounded, well-centered person. In the world of craziness, in the world of madness, public of the United States, in the world of silliness and seediness, David Wilcock, you have a nice anchor with Cliff High. So I just wanted to point that out because it's very, in my opinion, guys, one of the reasons why I do these videos, especially the private videos, is because I want to give you guys the foreshadowing, okay, to know what's going to happen in the future, have an idea of what is coming down, so you can better prepare, better acclimate yourself to the changes that are coming. It's not the changes that disrupt people. It's the frequency and intensity of the changes that gets people all stirred up. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what my MO is. That's what my motivation is. That is what the destiny of what I'm saying will turn out to be. Informational, educational, teaching, and giving you guys a better sense of awareness. And awareness is the key. If you're aware, then you're prepared. See what I'm saying? Okay, where are we at? 6/5, 2016. Is this year going by? Wow. Okay, Sunday. Thanks for listening, guys. Questions, comment, put it in the section.